Hey guys, today I will be doing What If Deku Was One Punch Man Part 4.5 Heroes Rising. With that being said, let's begin. Due to a recommendation from the Public Safety Committee, the students of Class 1A will be taking over a hero agency on Nabu Island, a peaceful island of the coast of Japan, to gain work experience. The students do a great job helping the citizens, rapidly gaining the respect of all the island's inhabitants within the first few days. However, there is one girl who doesn't agree with them, deciding to play a prank on the heroes, calling in reporting that her brother is missing, expecting the wannabe heroes to take hours and give up. But to her shock, Deku finds him before she can even hang up the call, after jumping in the air scouting the whole island with his supervision, finding him within the first 5 seconds, appearing behind Maharo holding her brother, who is profusely apologizing for his sister's prank, but Maharo doesn't back down, simply saying that he may be fast but he will probably run away if he was in real danger, then grabbing Katsuma's hand running off, with Deku just smiling, happy that there wasn't a real incident, then continuing the day as usual. Elsewhere, Maharo gets Katsuma and herself some ice cream while making rude comments about UA High students and their inability to respond to danger despite the island's low crime rate. Katsuma doesn't seem as bothered as his sister because Izuku was kind to him and faster than anyone he had ever seen, so Maharo formulates a plan to make her brother change his mind about the heroes. At the end of the day, the class is exhausted from all the hard work and deeds that they've done. Hanta wonders if the small acts are considered to be hero work, so Tenya assures that every deed that happens on the island count as hero work. Momo reminds everyone that they may have their provisional licenses, but they are still students, so they will have to put in the hard work to make sure that the island residents can count on them. Minoru points out to the class that the only one who hasn't done the work since they arrived on the island was Katsuki, who refuses to do small deeds unless there is a villain involved. The residents of Nabu Island come to the hero office and greet the class with special accommodations of food for dinner as a token of gratitude for all of their hero work. After eating their dinner, Denki, Hanta, and several other students come and tell Ijiro to join them in the bath and assign Katsuki to be on night patrol. He complains, but the guys remind him that he didn't do any hero work all day long. Katsuki can't argue that and goes out to patrol the grounds, and due to not having much to do, Deku does the same despite Bakugo's countless rejections and complaints. While the duo were arguing about petty things, Katsuma appears telling the pair that a villain has appeared, exciting Bakugo, who goes to grab Katsuma to guide him. However, before he could reach him, Deku had already jumped into the air, asking Katsuma to point to the direction of the villain, then turning to the opposite direction, flicking his fingers, sending them rocketing towards the villain, then punching the air in front of the giant insect villain, destroying the mountain and forest behind it, as well as blowing Maharo over, making the villain hologram / illusion disappear. Seeing this, Deku runs to her, grabbing her hand, asking her if she is okay, while finally putting Katsuma down, who stated violently vomiting as if he had just got off the biggest roller coaster with the most loop-de-loops ever. After Katsuma stopped throwing up, Deku asked him if he was okay, but the boy simply apologized once again for the trouble his older sister caused him, before running off. Finally, after a minute or two, Bakugo arrived, taking longer than usual due to not having a guide, however eventually locating them due to the massive explosion, asking Deku what happened, pointing at the destruction that Deku was completely oblivious to, only just noticing at that moment, replying that he may have went a bit overboard with that punch, saying he was trying to hold back but I guess I wasn't holding back enough, then laughing. Hearing this, Deku is yelled at by the angry Pomeranian for wasting his precious time, telling him to tidy his mess, then storming off, shooting a massive explosion at Deku's face as he did. Looking at the damage, Deku wonders how he could fix it without a time rewinding quirk or plant and ground manipulation quirk, then having an idea, flying off to the main island, then returning with a massive boulder the size of a small village, then rotating it at extreme speeds above the mountain until it turned into molten rock, then punching the air when it was set in the correct place to fill in the gap he made in the mountain, causing the rapid winds and sudden rainfall to cool down the lava, then removing all the dead trees and plants, burning them, covering the ground in a layer of ash to act as nutrients for the hundreds of trees he planted within the blink of an eye, once again punching the air, causing a torrential downpour, watering the new saplings, which now took up beyond 20% the original size of the forest. The next day, the class resumes to their daily schedule hero work. Izuku comes across Katsuma again, who apologizes for his sister's prank last night again. Katsuki also listens to Katsuma's apology as he is outside standing on the veranda eating a popsicle / ice lolly, however you want to say it. He listens to Katsuma explaining that Maharo was trying to prove that the heroes wouldn't come help, but they did, just like Katsuma believed. Deku notes that Katsuma has an edge-shot pin on his bag, and asks him if he likes heroes. Katsuma says that he really admires heroes and wants to be one, even though his quirk isn't suited for combat. However, his sister dislikes heroes and wants to discourage him from ever becoming one. Izuku realizes that Maharo doesn't quite hate heroes, she just wants to stop Katsuma from thinking of becoming one because she was afraid that hero work is dangerous, which reminds him of how his mother, Inko, was worried about his well-being. Deku then asks Katsuma what his quirk is, with the boy explaining that it's called cell activation and it's not very powerful and absolutely useless in combat, so he stands no chance being a hero. Hearing this, Deku asks Katsuma if he can keep a secret, then telling the boy that he was quirkless and despite the odds, he did not give up and trained his body until it broke over and over again, and then one day after all that work 6 months later he could floor All Might with relative ease, and then now he can floor All Might by flicking his fingers, then mumbling that anyone can probably do that now that he is retired. Deku then tells the boy that he has an amazing quirk and he bets it can be used in combat as well, not to mention as a rescue hero, if he believes in himself, explaining in more detail that if he can learn to activate it on himself, he can regenerate from his attacker's attacks, and get a power increase, and who knows, maybe if it gets strong enough you could make yourself invincible for a short period of time by concentrating your quirk like his friend Red Riot and his unbreakable form. Deku then tells the boy that this dream of his is only obtainable if he trains hard, telling him that he can start off at an easy amount of physical training like 10 push-ups and sit-ups and a 1-kilometer run, then increasing it to a 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, and a 10-kilometer run every day like he does. Hearing this praise and hope, the young boy's smile shot up with joy and excitement to get stronger to achieve his dream, thanking Deku, running off to tell Maharo about his newfound joy. Hearing the whole ordeal, Bakugo just snarls, going inside after staring at his now dead popsicle for a minute, which was now decorating his shoe. By sunset, Katsuma meets back with Maharo at the same park where he met Izuku and is about to tell his sister about becoming a hero when Nine and his villains hijack a ferry and crash into the Nabu Island harbor. Residents flee as the villains arrived. Once the villains have landed on the island, the villains begin their assault. Nine instructs his allies to do whatever they need to do in order to create distractions while he hunts down the two kids. Slice uses her quirk to destroy all of the ships at the harbor while Nine and the rest of the villains continue their attack. Terrified, Katsuma and Maharo attempt to contact Class 1A headquarters, but Katsuki answers the phone. He doesn't believe her at first, but Izuku hears the exchange and takes the phone. Just before Izuku can answer back, the phone service is cut off after Chimera destroyed the communication towers, rendering all connections to the outside world severed. Once the connection is cut off, the villains continue with their invasion. Mummy focuses his efforts on attacking the urban area near the mall, where Minoru, Toru, and Yuga are patrolling. Mummy quickly overpowers them with his quirk, mummification, to reanimate non-living objects into massive puppets. While Yuga attacks with his naval laser and Minoru fights back with his pop-off, Toru tries to contact headquarters, but she discovers that the communication service is dead. Chimera is confronted by Masharao and Fumikage while Zuyu and Mezzo evacuate the residents and the tourists that are on the beach. Masharao attacks Chimera with Tornado Tail Dance, but the villain blocks his attacks so easily with one hand because his quirk gives him animalistic speed and strengths of different kinds of animals. Fumikage attempts to attack with Dark Shadow, but the villain blocks the attack, much to the latter's shock. Outmatched, Masharao orders Fumikage to head back to headquarters to request backup. Back at Class 1A headquarters, the heroes are confused about why the phone service is dead until one of the residents notifies them of a villain attacking the shopping district as Fumikage returns to report a villain attack at the beach. Quickly, Tenya devises the plan of action. He splits the class into groups in order to deal with the separate threats. Katsuki, Ijiro, and Denki will go to the shopping district and intercept the villain with Momo, Kyoka, and Minor assist with medical evacuation while he, Shoto, Hanta, Sato, Fumikage will intercept the villain at the beach as Ochako and Koda assist with the evacuation of the tourists and residents. Meanwhile, Katsuma and Maro run away from the scene of the fighting and attempt to get back home, but they run into Nine, who destroys their home. The villain uses his quirk to scan the little kids and finds out that Katsuma has the exact cell activation quirk he needed. Before Nine can steal Katsuma's quirk, Izuku arrives and rescues the kids, using his inhumane speed to escape through a forest area and get the kids to safety. Deku instantly appears behind Nine ordering him to surrender, however Nine swiftly turns around grabbing Deku's face trying to steal his quirk, telling him that his quirk looks useful so it can serve a greater cause now. But to Nine's shock, Deku just simply asks the villain what he is doing, then punching the villain in the arm, shattering every bone in his arm and some of his ribs, sending him flying. Realizing Deku is a threat, he activates every quirk he has stored up, charging a massive finishing attack before saying it's a shame I couldn't steal such a power, so I guess I will have to dispose of you, then launching his attack with all his power, leaving him on the ground struggling to breath as his disease caught up with his quirk overuse causing rapid cell death. At least I killed the brat, Nine muttered while spitting out blood and being carried away by Kiruka Haseki, but to their shock. Standing unharmed albeit with tattered charred clothes exposing his perfectly healthy body, Deku emerged from the crater telling the villain that that was a starter, it's time for the main course, punching the air, launching the villain duo across the forest. Seeing that it's a do or die situation, Nine uses his full power, taking in the purple liquid drugs on his neck allowing him to slow the spread of his disease for long enough to fight, going full out like the ending of the movie. However, Deku simply swats at the massive inferno tornadoes, shattering through all the blue hydra appendages and air walls which blocked his path, all while taking the hundreds of lasers and hair bullets barraging him every second, laughing saying they tickle, before appearing in front of the duo as their lives flash before their eyes. Deku punches them in chest, incapacitating them. Deku then swiftly ties the villains in the basement of their agency base, then apprehending the other two villains within the blink of an eye, much to Bakugo's disappointment as he was just about to blow up that mummy POS up. After everyone calmed down, Bakugo asks Deku why he looks so indecent, pointing out Deku's lack of clothes, which catches everyone's attention as Deku also realizes, dashing off to get changed, leaving Eureka to float off spinning into space while blushing, unable to get the image out of her head. Due to how quick the takedown was, there was minimal collateral damage and harm to residents, so not much cleanup was required. However, they would have to wait another day for Wi-Fi. Despite all of 1A's effort, the Hero Safety Commission suspended the program and ordered the students to return to UA by the end of the week. With the island being repaired by the military and the heroes, Class 1A boards a ferry to leave. As the ferry starts to leave the docks, Katsuma and Maharu chase after it, yelling thanks to Mr. Deku and his friends, with Katsuma promising to train and become stronger to protect everyone. Making Deku smile, telling HM he can become a hero and he will be waiting for him at UA High School. Okay guys, that's the end of the video. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. It really helps a lot to motivate me to get out of bed to make videos, so thank you to everyone already subscribed. With that being said, this is Demonic Saiyan saying bye.